Hi friends, it's Morah Mushkie again, and I hope you guys had a fun week watching all the Brachot videos that were all about the Brachot Hamotzi, and some friends even got to join the Zoom yesterday where we ate some Hamotzi foods together and we learned how to make a sandwich. That was really fun. So finally today, you know what we're going to get to do? We're going to make a Hamotzi food together. And if you have the ingredients in your house to make challah, that's right, we're getting ready for Shabbat because it's Friday, then you can make challah along with me. But if you don't, no worries. It's kind of tricky to make challah, and some of the ingredients are a little bit hard to find now when it's tricky to go to the store. So if you don't have the ingredients in your house, or if your family is not ready to make challah, no worries. You can watch right along with me, and I'll even show you what the challah is going to look like when it comes out of the oven. All right? Are you ready to see? So the first thing that we need to do is we've got to think back to our experiment that we did with something that makes Hamotzi foods like bread and challah grow. Remember what that ingredient was called? That's right, it was yeast. So we know that flour is the most important ingredient in Hamotzi foods. That's what we talked about wheat, and that's where we get most of the flour from and how it grows in the field, and then we get it and we grind it up and it turns into flour, and then we mix it together with other things. So that part is going to come next. But the yeast, we actually want to do first because it needs time to bubble with the other ingredients that make it work the best. And then it's going to make our challah super soft and fluffy and really nice and yummy. But do you remember that experiment we did where we put some different things in the bag together with the yeast? What were the two things that when we put it together with the yeast liked those two things the best? Remember what they were? Was it salt? Did the yeast like being mixed together with salt? Did that make it bubble up and grow the most? Or was it cold water? Well, by the way, it was two ingredients, right? I remember it was warm water and sugar. Those are the two things that when we put them together with the yeast, they made the yeast in the bag bubble up the most. Remember how it was popping out of the bag a little bit, actually? It was so super full with the air that the yeast was making. That's what the yeast does inside the bread too, or the challah. It makes little bubbles of air, and that when we chew on it, it feels really nice for our teeth. It's really soft and fluffy. So let's try and make that kind of air happen in our challah dough also. Should I show you how we're going to do it? So we need warm water and sugar. Those are the two things. I have sugar over here. Here's my sugar. But first I want to get the warm water. How do you get warm water? What do you need to mix together to get warm water? I have my cold water over here. But how do I get it warm? I'm going to mix it with some hot water. This is hot water. Don't worry, it's not too hot because it already cooled down a little bit. But it is pretty warm. Like if you wanted to make this kind of mixture in your house, you would need a grown-up to help you with this. And I'm going to pour some hot water in first and then some cold water, and then I'll feel it with my finger. I have gloves on so they don't get dirty. And then I'll feel if they're the right temperature. All right, so let me start. We need 5 cups of water altogether. Okay, can you help count with me? I'm not going to get to 5, but I'm going to get to 4, and then we'll have 1 left, okay? We'll do 2 of each, 2 of the hot and 2 of the cold. And then we'll see if we need to add a little more cold or a little more hot. Okay, let's count together. Oh, can you see the steam rising? Water is pretty warm, pretty hot actually. 1. Remember, don't count till I pour it in. That way we'll know we have the right amount. 2. Now we're going to do the 2 of the cold. 3. And 4. You see how the bowl is actually getting all steamed up? You can't even see it inside. That's because of the hot water. Let me see if I can draw a picture on the air. See that smiley face? It's a little hard to see. There it is. Okay, so let me feel the water and let me see if it needs a little more cold water or a little more hot water to get it to be warm. It's actually feeling really good now, so I'm going to do half-half. I'm going to do a little bit of cold in the cup, and then I'll pour a little more hot. And a little more hot over here. Let me feel it again, make sure it's good. That was our 5th cup. Yeah, that feels nice. Nice and warm, just the way the yeast likes it. This will be good for our yeast to grow. Okay, now we're going to put in the sugar. Let me get that sugar out. I don't want the sugar to stick to the water that's in this cup, because this cup is wet from the water, so I brought a different measuring cup. It's also 1 cup, because we need 1 whole cup of sugar. We want our yeast to be nice and puffy so that our challah dough will be super delicious. So we're putting in a lot of sugar. All right, come on, sugar. Let's get all the way to the top of the cup so we know we have the right amount. And then we'll pour you in. And then after we mix the water and the sugar together, then we can add the yeast. All right, ready to watch the sugar being poured in? Here we go. I'll do it the other way so you can see. There you go. I think this yeast is going to be really happy to go inside this warm water sugar mixture, because those are the 2 ingredients that yeast likes the most. Okay. Now let's mix this up a little bit. You don't have to mix too much. You just want the sugar and the water to be combined a little bit. All right, that's good. Now we are ready for the yeast finally. Are you ready to come in here, yeast? Are you ready to come and join the sugar and the warm water, your 2 favorite ingredients? Yes, I am. Okay, great. The yeast is ready. We need 3 tablespoons of yeast. That sounds like a lot, but it's a big challah dough. This is going to make enough challah for my whole family, probably for 2 weeks, not just for 1 Shabbat. So it's going to make a lot. Let's count together to 3. 1. You see the yeast going on top? 2. And last one. 3. All right. Here is our yeast inside our sugar water mixture. I'm going to pick up the camera for a second so you can see what it looks like on top. All right. Have a look here. See? This is what it looks like when it's just got combined together with the sugar and the water. Okay, so remember in our experiment 2 times ago, the yeast needed some time to sit and mix together? It needs probably like 10 minutes. So while we're waiting, let's move the yeast aside, and we're going to read a book together, okay? And then we'll come back and check on our yeast. See you soon, yeast. Go have a nice rest. Go get big and puffy so you can make our challah dough super yummy. So while we're waiting, I have a fun book here that's actually about challah dough and someone who tried to make challah and put in a little too much yeast. So if you were on the Zoom yesterday, you may have seen this book, you may have not. If you did, you can just skip ahead to after this, because most friends didn't see the book yet. So we're still going to read it together. If you want to read it again, you're welcome to. This book is called Way Too Much Challah Dough by Goldie Shulman, illustrated by Vitaly Romanenko. I wonder what's going to happen inside the book. I see on the cover already, there's a girl and a lot of dough. But I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see. Way too much challah dough. I know it. Let's move you guys a little closer so you can see the book better. And we'll move the hot water out of the way. There we go. Okay. Here we are. Hi there, I'm Mindy. Guess why I'm excited? I'm baking challah, the first time I've tried it. This is Mindy. How do I start? What to mix? What to measure? I called up my bubby, who answered with pleasure. This is what her bubby says to do. And it might sound like what we just did. Let's listen and see if you recognize any of the steps that they did. In a bowl of warm water, mix lots of fresh yeast. Add sugar and salt, half the flour at least. Hey, we did that. We did the yeast and the sugar. We didn't do the salt yet. I think her recipe is a little different. Put in oil and eggs, more flour, then knead. Remember, kneading is when you push the dough and squish it like this after you mix it. It makes the dough really soft and fluffy. Just follow each step. If you knead for 10 minutes, you'll surely succeed. Just follow each step and it doesn't take long. Just follow directions and you won't go wrong. Thanks, Bubby, I said. That sounds really good. I hope that my challah comes out as it should. So I did what she said, and wouldn't you know, in no time I'd made a bowl full of dough. Look, here's her bowl, and here's all her ingredients. We're going to use some of those ingredients soon, too. That's her yeast. We actually already put in our yeast. Baking challah was fun. Anybody could do it. I thought it was hard, but there's nothing much to it. Just then the phone rang. So what could I do? My hands full of dough were as sticky as glue. I washed them so quickly to get off that stuff. I scrubbed and I rubbed, but not fast enough. She couldn't make it to the phone in time. It stopped ringing. The person hung up. So back to the dough. It was still kind of lumpy. The dough hadn't changed. It was sticky and bumpy. I looked in the bowl and I started to doubt. Had I done this correctly or left the yeast out? Without yeast, a challah dough simply won't grow. Did she put in the yeast already? She did, but she forgot. So look what she's going to do now. So I added some more yeast right into the dough. Oh man, what's going to happen next? Right then, I heard ringing. Ding dong, ding dong. The doorbell was chiming. Just look at my fingers. What terrible timing. Her fingers are all covered in dough. I knew it must be the delivery man, but when I got there, he'd already left in his van. Oh man. So, back to the dough. But then I forgot. Had I put all the yeast in? Perhaps I had not. Did she put the yeast in? She already put it in twice, 2 times, but she forgot. So guess what? She puts in more. A 3rd time of putting in yeast. Well, that's easy to fix. We have plenty of yeast. I guess it can't hurt if the yeast is increased. Then I kneaded that dough just like Bubby had said, till my shoulders were sore and my face was all red. Whew, it's hard work kneading all that dough. It was time for a break. I stared down at the dough and tried to tell if it had started to grow. I watched as it lay in the bowl like a blob. Maybe this yeast wasn't doing its job. So I added some more of the yeast, just in case, hoping that this would help speed up the pace. Had she really added the yeast before? So now how many times did she put in yeast? She's only supposed to put it in 1 time. But actually now she put it in 4 times. I wonder what's going to happen to her dough. Would that dough ever rise? Well, I'd sure done my best. Now I had to lay down for a 10-minute rest. And while I was resting, and without my knowing, the challah dough in that bowl just started growing. Oh man, what's going to happen? The bowl I had picked for its very large size overflowed with fresh dough that continued to rise. I took out a much bigger bowl for the dough. Think that one's going to be big enough? So it would have more than enough room to grow. Oh no, I cried out, it's reaching the top. I could see that the dough wasn't ready to stop. I emptied the huge bowl right into the sink. That's gotta be just the right size, don't you think? Do you think this huge sink is gonna be big enough for all that dough? But that dough kept on rising each second, each minute. I must have put way too much extra yeast in it. The sink was too small. I had no time to lose. The toy box was bigger, so that's what I'd use. See that huge toy box? Where there's so many toys inside it. She dumps them all out, and she pours the dough in. You think there will be enough space for the dough? I cleaned out the toys from the box in a wink and plopped in the dough that I dragged from the sink. Have a look at that toy box. The toy box was big. It had plenty of space. At last, I had thought of the most perfect place. You think there will be enough space for the dough, or is it going to keep on growing? But a few minutes later, I saw I was wrong. The dough was still growing. I didn't have long. In shock, I sat down on a 3-legged stool, and that's when I spotted my old kiddie pool. I tugged at the dough, and I got it all in, but it rose even higher right up to my chin. Oh, man. Dough covered the couch. It rose up the wall. I had to get help, so I made a quick call. Ring, ring. Bubby, please come, I said into the phone. I don't think I can handle this dough on my own. Bubby came in 3 minutes. She looked all around. Dough had oozed out the door, to the porch, to the ground. Did you follow directions? Oh, Bubby, I tried, but I put too much yeast in my challah, I cried. Oh, man, what you gonna do? You think her Bubby has a solution for her? Her Bubby knows all about making challah. Let's see. With her apron in place and a large metal tray, Bubby walked towards the house and told me to stay. How could she fix this? What would she do? I wanted to go in the house with her too. But I followed directions and stayed in the yard. I wondered and waited, and boy, was that hard. As the seconds ticked by, all the dough cleared away, and suddenly Bubby appeared with her tray. She held out 2 challahs, both perfectly braided. She looked at me calmly. Her smile never faded. Baking challah, she said, doesn't have to take long. Just follow directions and you won't go wrong. I stretched out my hands. What a lovely surprise. Then all of a sudden, I opened my eyes. The dough in my bowl had grown over the top. That's as far as I got, just that far, and it stopped. Hey, did all that time that the dough was growing and it was getting too big, did that really happen, or was she dreaming? My 10-minute nap had stretched on for an hour. I'd slept in my apron all covered with flour. It all felt so real, at least that's how it seemed. But the runaway dough was just something I dreamed. I stood up and took challah out of my dough. A small piece to burn for the mitzvah, that's when we take out a piece for Hashem. Bubby's coming for Shabbat and proudly displayed will be my special challahs, completely homemade. The end. All right, that was a really fun book all about the yeast and what it does in the dough and making challah. Should we check on our yeast now and see how it's doing? Let's have a look. Remember how it looked before? Now let's compare. Let's see. What does our yeast look like now? Did it grow? Oh yeah, look at that. It's gotten really nice and puffy. I'll move this further back so you guys can see again. Remember what our yeast looked like before? Here it is. Oh, it's getting nice and puffy and all ready to put in the other ingredients. So let's start. Let's first put in a bunch of our flour. We're going to need this whole bag, actually. This bag, it's 5 pounds of flour, and we're going to put the whole thing in. Let's open up our flour. Ready to see it come in? We're not going to put all of it in now. We'll put like half. We'll put in the rest after the rest of the other ingredients, after we mix it a little. Flour, flour, flour. You know what, actually, this bowl is not going to be big enough for all of our ingredients. So after we mix in the flour a little more, we are going to put it into a big tray. I don't actually have a big enough bowl for this challah in my house. In school, we have those really big bowls, right? But in my house, I don't. So we're just going to mix it in a really big tray. All right, let's mix in this flour. Mix, mix, mix. Actually, hold on one second, guys. I'm going to go get a better spoon. This one's not really working. All right, I'm back, and I also got our other ingredients over here. And here's my other better mixing utensil. This is a spatula, actually, but it'll work. Also, in Chabad, we have big mixing spoons, right? Okay, let's mix this in a little bit. And you know what? I think we're ready to pour it into the big tray. Would you like to see what it looks like? It's a big, big tray because it has space for all the ingredients we're going to need to put in, which will be a lot of ingredients. Okay, let's pour this in. All the yeast and the water and the sugar and the flour. That looks pretty good. There's still some bubbly yeast on the side. Come in, yeast. We need all of you. There we go. That looks good. And that looks delish. Who's excited for Shabbat? I am. I can't wait to eat some real challah. Okay, let's put in our oil next. We need 1 cup of oil. So we're going to use the same cup measure as before. 1 cup. There we go. And now we need, let's put that over Now we need 5 eggs. So I have my cup. Check the eggs here and make sure they're kosher. And here's my eggs. Let's check them one at a time. 1 egg. Let's check it. No blood here. No blood here. It's kosher. And next one. Number 2. No blood here, no blood here, it's kosher. And number 3. No blood here, no blood here, it's kosher. All right, all of our eggs have been kosher so far, hooray. Number 4, almost enough eggs. Let's see. I hope this one's also kosher. No blood here, no blood here, it's kosher too. And last one. No blood over, well, I hope, over here. No blood over here. It's kosher. Hooray! All of our eggs are kosher. Awesome. And the last ingredient that we need to put in is salt. We need 2 tablespoons of salt. So let's get our tablespoon out again that we use for the yeast. And let's pour in some salt. Salt gives it a nice flavor. Here we go. 1 tablespoon and 2 tablespoons. All right, friends, since the mixing is going to take a while, I'm going to pause the video again so that you guys can just skip ahead to the fun part. I'm going to mix the dough, and then I'll come back for a minute when it's time to knead the dough, and then afterwards we'll watch it when it's finished rising, and then we'll shake it together. All right, so I'll see you soon. Hey friends, I'm back. I wanted to show you that the challah dough looks like this now when it's almost finished mixing, and now I'm pretty much ready to knead it. So should we sing our kneading song while I knead it for a little bit, and then we'll see how it looks after? Knead, knead, knead the challah dough. Knead, knead, knead the challah dough. Knead, knead, knead the challah dough. Ready for Shabbat. Knead, knead, knead the challah dough. Knead, knead, knead the challah dough. Knead, knead, knead the challah dough. Ready for Shabbat. All right, our challah dough is looking so much nicer. Look at that. Let's sing our song one more time. Then I think it will be ready to take out a piece for Hashem. Knead, knead, knead the challah dough. Knead, knead, knead the challah dough. Knead, knead, knead the challah dough. Ready for Shabbat. Okay, that looks like a nice kneaded challah dough. So if you want your challah dough to be super, super duper fluffy, you can knead it for much longer. So I'm going to take out a piece for Hashem, and then I think maybe I'll keep kneading it. Because first we want to take out a piece for Hashem, right? Always first for Hashem. And then after that, I can keep kneading it so that it'll be super duper soft. All right, so this is a special girls mitzvah. If there were any other girls here with me, I would ask them to help me. Any girls in Gold Nursery or Silver Nursery or Ruby Pre-K, or if any other friends are watching from the pink class or the orange class or the green class or the blue class or the red class or the yellow class. And since no one else is here, I'm going to do it by myself. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out a little piece, and I'm going to say a special bracha. And it's also a special time to talk to Hashem and ask Hashem for anything that you want or you need. All right, so here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehafrish challah. Amen. Harezu challah. This is the challah for Hashem. I'm going to put it over here. Keep it safe. All right. So now our challah looks nice and flat. I'm going to knead it a little more, and then I'm going to put it aside to rise. So have a look here and see how big it looks, because after it rises, it's gonna look much bigger. All right, you ready to see? I'll see you again after it's finished rising. All right, friends, check it out. Our dough got really, really big. Wow, check out how much our dough grew when it was rising. Now comes the fun part. I'm gonna punch it down. Well, punching it down because you gotta make a punching hand. And you push it down and some of the bubbles go out and then it'll be ready to shape. Ready to see? You're pushing all the air out. Now it's gonna flatten all by itself. So, our yeast worked really well. It made our dough rise and get really nice. And now we're ready to shape it. Okay, so let me put some on the side. We're just gonna take out a little bit. Gonna put it on the baking paper, and it's gonna be ready to go straight into the oven. All right, today I'm gonna show you how to make 3 braid. So that's a cool kind of challah, easy to make. I'm gonna shake out some flour onto my surface so it doesn't get too sticky. I'm gonna take a little more dough over here. This dough is so nice and soft and stretchy. Okay, let's get a little flour on my hands. I don't want to put too much flour because that will make the dough dry and it won't taste so good. So I want to divide all my dough into 3 pieces that are about the same size. Let me pull off one piece. All right, that looks good. And another piece. All right, that looks good. And, oh, I have one more piece left. Good. Did I use up all my dough? Yeah. Okay, but I'm looking here at my pieces, and they're not all the same size. This one is much bigger, and this one is smaller. So let me take a little bit here, put it onto this one. All right, now they look good. Now I'm going to roll them into snakes. Roll, roll, roll the challah dough. You can also roll it over here. Roll, roll, roll the challah dough. Or roll like this. Roll, roll, roll the challah dough. Make it nice and long. All right, we'll do the same for those other 2. Roll, roll, or you can squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the challah dough. Make sure that all of the dough is rolled out so there's no big spots in the middle or small spots at the end. You want it to be even. Roll the challah dough. Roll, roll, roll the challah dough. Make it nice and long. All right, now we're ready to shape our challah. So I have 3 strands, and they're all the same size and length. And I'm just wondering if you guys can see. I feel like I should make it a little bit higher. Let me put something else underneath so you guys can see better. Okay, I think that will work even better. Okay, so now I will connect all my 3 strands together, pinch them at the top. See that? And now what I'm going to do is in order to make a braid, I'm going to give each of them a turn to be in the middle. Which one's in the middle now? Can you point? That's right. This one's in the middle. Now, we can start with this one or this one. Doesn't matter. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to pick it up and put it in the middle, in between these 2. Pick it up, put it in the middle. All right, now this one had a turn to be in the middle, and this one had a turn. So now it's this one's turn. Go in the middle. And now it's this one's turn again. Go in the middle. You know whose turn it is now? This guy. Go in the middle, and now go in the middle, and now go in the middle, and now go in the middle. See how it goes in the pattern? Middle, 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 middle. Oh, we're almost out of dough at the bottom. All right, now it's time to pinch them all together. Take your fingers like this and squeeze like that on the dough. Pinch. Hey, look what we made. It's called a braid. Should we put it in the oven and see what it looks like after it's all baked? All right, I'm going to put my challah dough in the oven, and I'll show you what it looks like on the other side after it's all done. See you soon. All right, friends, our challah is ready. Would you like to see what it looks like? I just took it out of the oven. It's still really hot. That's why I'm wearing an oven glove. Have a look. Here is our challah. And it smells so yum. I can't wait to eat it on Shabbat. And of course, you know a bracha I'm going to say on it. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. That's right. Let me pick it up one more time so you can see. Here it is. Woo, that was hot. Well, I hope that you have a really nice Shabbat. If you have challah in your house or if you have a different Shabbat treat, I hope it's a really, really lovely Shabbat. And next week we're going to learn about a new bracha. Bye.